letter regarding relocating the sign, the post. According to planning, depending on where the sign is located, BCDC may have to get involved. So Public Works reached out to me and planning, and they're going to see if there's a location that they may be able to move the sign posts there. Secondly, the long-term funding for the arts, I did forward that to the city attorney's office, and there will be a meeting with the city attorney's office, city manager's office, and me to further discuss. End of my report.
Thank you. Now, apologize for clumsiness here. Now we move on to the community forum. Are there any, there's no one present. Are there any calls waiting?
Thank you, Chair. Currently, I did start a 2-minute timer, which is reflective on the top left corner of your screen, for interested parties to sign up for the community forum on Zoom by raising your hand, or if they're inside the chambers, signing up at the terminals in the back. At this current time, we do have one member of the public with their hand raised, if you would like to hear them while that time is running.
Absolutely, please.
That may be someone speaking on, I believe that's going to be speaking on item 9D. Catherine, I believe, you could ask.
No, I have a TJ Walker.
Oh, okay, different person, okay.
Okay. TJ, please unmute yourself. You have the floor.
Hi, thank you for taking my comment. I'm sorry if the audio is weird. Christina is also here, Christina Walkup. We work with the Vallejo chapter of the Solano County Arts Council, and we just wanted to join you for this meeting, let you know that we're working on the districting grant. We'd like to partner with you on that, since we have a relationship with the California Arts Council and NEA as well. And
Excuse me,
Black,
TJ?
our director.
Excuse
Yeah, go
me,
ahead.
Mr. Walker, Walkup?
Yeah.
That's an item on the agenda. You can speak under 9D as an action
Okay.
item.
All right.
Thank you, because I spoke with Carmen Slack, and she had a conflict, so, and so you're speaking to her instead of Christina, is that correct?
I just came up, so I started talking. But yeah, Christina's admin. I'm also on with the chapter, Vallejo chapter. So
Well,
either one of us can speak. You can take Christina on that item if you'd like.
What did you say? I didn't hear.
Can you hear me?
Will you,
Can you hear me?
yeah, will you repeat yourself, please, sir?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I just raised my hand first, I think, and so it was just taken. So either one of us can speak, but Christina, I think, was lined up to do that. And I was just speaking because I get turned on to speak. So I can wait till the item comes up if you'd like, and you can
Yes.
talk to Christina if you'd like as well.
Yes,
Okay.
since the item is on the agenda, let's wait to have conversation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, no other speakers at this time, Chair.
Thank you. Then now we move on to item 8, consent calendar, approval of agenda. First, approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Cool. Yeah.
It was moved by Commissioner Allen and seconded by Commissioner Vidor, Vice Chair Vidor.
Oh. She's back.
Roll call. Chair Wise,
Yes.
Vice Chair Vidor,
Yes.
Commissioner Allen,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Thorson.
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Thank you.
And now the approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
And I'll second.
Cool. It has been,
We need a second. I second. Who, oh, you moved?
second.
Oh, I'm sorry, did the chair move?
I
Oh,
He
okay.
moved and I seconded.
I actually was opening up the call for an approval, but I will approve it myself.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he had opened it up. Right.
You were not, but I'll motion to approve. And
And I second.
Okay. Okay, has been moved by Chair Wise and seconded by Commissioner Hernandez for the approval of the May 29th special meeting minutes. Roll call, Chair Wise,
approve.
Vice Chair Vidor,
Yes.
Commissioner Allen,
Yes.
Commissioner Thorson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Thank you, pass 6-0.
Perfect. Now, we move on to the action calendar. And we will start with A, the Measure P funding request, which we discussed last meeting, and we were all going to bring ideas for it today. Would anyone like to start? Does anyone have an idea they want? Should we begin by bringing forward our ideas? Or?
Whoever cut their lights on first.
Commissioner Thorson, I think you're first on this list.
All right. I didn't know exactly how to do this, so I just wrote.
So I believe it's number 2 on your panels is to request to speak, which gives your light the green light. And then the chair will be able to see that reflected on his panel, at which point you press the large speaking button to then speak at that point. So right now, Vice Chair and Commissioner Allen both have their microphones on. If you want to speak, please unmute yourself and then hit the 2 to request to speak.
Through the chair, oftentimes the request button turns off on its own.
It does. It does,
Noted. Thank you.
yes.
So she's.
So Commissioner Thorson, do you want to go first, or you would wait to hear someone else?
Ladies first, really. Yes, go ahead.
Just make sure the mic is on.
Push the button. There you go.
Oh, you don't have to keep it depressed. All right, I'm getting the hang of this. Through the chair, I request to hear someone else go, even though I probably will just read what I wrote.
Oh, that's fine.
Then I believe the second person on the list when I first called you was Coach Vice Chair Vidor.
Thank you. Through the chair, I went back to the Bloomberg grant that we had previously written because I just thought that it was very well written. And I just took an element of that because it wouldn't be the whole thing. Now, one of the items on the project summary and justification is urgency and justification. And so what I did was I took the youth mural element of it. And I thought that what we could do is, so it'd either be youth mural or art installation, depending on where it was. But we would contact the teaching artists from the Bloomberg grant and ask them to be part of this as well. And we would identify blighted or neglected areas throughout the city in each district. So each district, voting district, would have a group of kids that would work to either create a mural or an art installation in that district so that each district gets attention. And then that they're able to improve a blighted area. And that would conclude with some sort of celebration at each installation over a period of 6 months. Thank you.
Through the chair, if I may, I'd like to compile all of this, so will you, after we discuss which ones you would like to go forward with, request that that information be sent to me, because you may want to combine them, or however you want to do it, but that's a request.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes, just Commissioner. Thank you, Chair. Appreciate it. And thank you, Vice Chair, for jumping on that one. The only one that I had for Measure P request, and I will get something to Staff Taylor, thank you, is a regranting. My question then is Measure P available, are those funds available for a regranting program? If so, I would ask for, we're asking for $200,000 for a regranting program for individual artists and cultural institutions and organizations. I would like to say seek $100,000 out of Measure P funds as perhaps half of that amount, or like the original pilot program had morphed into, which was $100,000. All of the organizations that are currently on the city's website, the list that Ms. Ascari came up with, I would invite all of them to come in as a second round to have a augmentation grant if they're still available, if they're still around, if they're still, the artists are still in town, that sort of thing. So I would like to see Measure P funds used in this model of a regranting program to augment what we're already asking the city for, or perhaps to come up with half the money to do that. I'll wrap that in some text, but I think that's the shortest version of that.
I do, my recollection this was brought up at the last meeting, and I believe it was Councilman Mateus who sort of, I believe, strongly discouraged us from pursuing regranting out of this, felt that that we would get a pretty definitive no if we went to the Measure P group with regranting, and that it needed to be a specific project instead, as much as I very much want the funding for regranting. But I just want to, I'm not to dismiss it out of hand, but I believe that was said at the last meeting.
Yeah, there was no definitive sense of that. The council member expressed the belief that it would probably be a negative, and that it would probably be, like, I'm just going down swinging. This is my 8th year asking for money for artists, and if I don't do this, I will be talking to my constituents later about why I didn't ask. But I agree, you're probably right. We probably won't get the money, but that would have been my request.
Right, it has to meet one of the criteria of Measure P funding, and regranting was not on that list. But good try.
Thank you.
Commissioner Thorson?
Okay, all right, this is working. All right, so I'm gonna just read two. So the first is asphalt art to enhance crosswalks and intersections. Asphalt art in crosswalks and intersections can encourage drivers to slow down, heed traffic signals, and be more aware of pedestrians and other vehicles. Cities such as Miami, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, and Brooklyn, New York have taken asphalt art projects to enhance public safety, build community, and celebrate local culture. The asphalt art safety study, published in April 22 by Bloomberg Philanthropies, found a 17% decrease in the total crash rates at sites where asphalt art was installed. Asphalt art is hard to say. Injury crashes also decreased 37%, and crashes involving pedestrians or vulnerable road users decreased by 50%. Installing asphalt art in select Vallejo intersections and crosswalks can beautify our city and make busy streets safer for everyone. It responds to Measure P goals of addressing streets, roads, and sidewalks to make public spaces safer and improve quality of life for residents, motorists, and pedestrians. To move forward with this proposal, the Commission could identify possible sites for asphalt art by selecting streets already slated for improvement and/or concentrating on Vallejo's accident-prone intersections, or concentrating on areas near schools and parks to enhance safety in areas where children and families congregate. Once a list of sites are identified, the Commission could issue a call for proposals from local artists and community organizations to create designs and partner with the Public Works Department to close streets and create art at each site. Associated costs include paint and supplies, shade tent rentals, honorarium for selected artists and organizations, and the costs associated with temporary street closure. There is an asphalt art safety study that has been published, and I have a link here that I can forward to Staff Taylor if anyone wants to look at that study. I'm going to take a breath, and then I will read the second one. I think the next time I may not write them out or do bullet points. Okay, so the second one is free youth arts camps and programming. Free arts programming can increase resilience, confidence, and agency for youth by providing educational and recreational opportunities and enhancing social emotional learning and wellness. Solano County's Community Health Improvement Plan, otherwise known as CHIP, lists improving the safety and well-being of youth and adults as their #1 behavioral health objective. The plan recommends, quote, utilizing supportive spaces and programs for youth and families, such as youth art centers, family justice centers, and after-school supports, and ensuring all programs are financially accessible, culturally responsive, linguistically appropriate, and trauma-informed. To move forward with this proposal, the Commission could issue a call for proposals from teaching artists and existing community organizations. I have listed several community organizations here to create arts and culture camps and programming with vulnerable youth in our community. Costs associated with this project include materials, equipment, and supplies for youth camps, stipends for partnering organizations and camp teachers, breakfast and lunch for camp participants, and refreshments for public celebrations associated with each camp. And then I have a link to the Solano County Community Health Improvement Plan, which I will also forward to Staff Taylor.
Thank you. Sounds great. I don't see any requests. Proposal I wanted to bring, and I just want to give as a quick caveat that I would love to pursue this in some form, whether Measure P or somewhere else, and potentially this could be a good match as well for some of the future causeway development project. But in light of some recent news that happened since our last meeting, I would like to propose that we should commission out an artist to build a Sly Stone memorial in Vallejo. I think as one of the most famous former Vallejo residents, one of the most celebrated former Vallejo residents, someone who embodies everything that I think Vallejo arts and culture can represent, that there's a lot of potential there. Things like this can be a source of tourism dollars as well. I think if you put this somewhere notable, people would come certainly from across the bay to come see it. I think you can look at statues like the Jimi Hendrix statue in Seattle, places in other cities, the Fonz statue in Milwaukee, that do become centers of tourism and help. As far as Measure P, it would also be a source of removing blight. You could find an area to place it that would also serve that purpose. In terms of why now, because this is a great artist who is being celebrated right now. He just passed away, so it is timely in that sense, but not doesn't have to happen right now. But that was a sort of compelling argument for why now. The next steps would be, of course, to find a proper local artist to bring this idea into full fruition and the costs associated. But that is what I wanted to bring as my proposal today.
Through the chair, there is a member of the public who would like to speak on this item. If you would be willing.
Please.
Melvin Cohen, please unmute yourself. You have the floor.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much. So good evening, commissioners. My name is Melvin Cowan, and I'm the founder of Enough Housing. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak today and for your continued leadership in supporting Vallejo's creative and cultural ecosystem. Our group, we're leading a multi-phase community transformation project along Sonoma Boulevard. And while it includes permanent supportive housing, that's just one part of the broader vision, which includes a crisis stabilization, workforce development, behavioral health partnerships, and creating a campus rooted in healing, equity, and belonging. We believe art is essential to that healing process. That's why we're proposing a community arts activation event at the shopping center across from our site located at 3325 Sonoma Boulevard. This event will feature local artists, musicians, and creative vendors while also serving as a launchpad for longer-term revitalization of the corridor, including efforts to form a business improvement district. It's about reactivating space, celebrating culture, and laying the foundation for economic and community recovery. Importantly, this effort will also include honoring Vallejo's local leadership, from civic leaders to cultural stewards through storytelling, art, and public acknowledgement. We want the community to feel seen and celebrated. And as part of this broader vision, we're also working on bring public art directly to the project site. And so we're exploring a mural partnership. We intend to with local artist Izzy Drumguli, whose work is rooted in community voice transformation and cultural identity. Izzy would be amazing to be able to lead a process of community engagement and collaborative design to create a mural that reflects Vallejo's resilience and future. This would be more than paint on a wall. It would be a permanent piece of healing infrastructure. So we respectfully request that the commission consider including this activation and mural in your Measure P funding recommendations to support artist stipends and event production, public art installation costs, youth and elder engagement programming, and logistical support for the event and mural implementation. So we're not asking for support for a single day. We're asking you to help launch a movement that uses culture to reconnect and uplift this community. I want to thank you again for your time and vision, and I'd be happy to follow up with a one-pager budget or proposal, and would welcome any collaboration with commission members on this initiative. Thank you so much.
No more speakers at this time, Chair.
Thank you. If you're, I assume you're still listening, I think we would welcome a one pager. What is the correct place to have that sent?
Send to me, Annette Taylor, City of Vallejo Economic Development Department. This can be discussed tonight as part of what you may want to move forward, but that can be sent to me for consideration if in fact you want to include that either currently in the Measure P or funding, some other type of funding that you may want to propose in your work plan.
Commissioner Vidor.
How did you know? Through the chair, I feel that Commissioner Thorson's proposal, the first one that you made, I feel would be good to combine with the one that I had proposed as well in terms of like activating areas and the street art, I think is a great idea. And if we could include teaching artists and youth into that so that they are the ones creating the street art, I think that would be a wonderful use of Measure P funds, especially with the safety element that would be included in it.
Commissioner Miller.
Through the chair, I just want to piggyback off Vice Chair Theodore and Commissioner Thorson. I really like the idea of involving the youth, and I just wanted to know if we can basically add some type of element where it could be a mobile art studio so it can reach all of the areas, because I know there's limitations on, even when I hold things, like people can't access, they're having accessibility issues. So if we can incorporate it being some type of mobile art studio or some type of thing like that.
Through the chair.
when you push the red button, make sure it stays, then speak into your mic so we can, thank you.
Commissioner Vidor.
Thank you. Through the chair. I think Commissioner, sorry, Margaret is, I can't think of your last, Miller. I really like that idea as well, to include that. Maybe it would be like a mobile art mobile that could go from area to area, where all of these art pieces will be created, and so then the art will come to them as well, and so that they don't have to put their time or effort into trying to find where the art's going to be happening. I also think that we could incorporate that in the summer camp thing, so it would be I think all of these could all go together, honestly. I think creating youth art, street art, with a mobile unit. Now we're getting crazy. And then what was the second thing that you had proposed? I think we could include that as well.
Through the chair, asphalt art, and then, free camps or art programming.
So, through the chair. So it would basically be all of these things together, but in the form of a summer youth program, summer youth arts program.
Commissioner Hernandez.
Would we be able to also incorporate Melvin Cohen's ask? Because that might fit into the district as well, because then that would cover one district as one project. So I think you're right. All of it can tie in to each other as a presentable package.
Through the chair, I agree that I think Melvin Cowan's proposal spoke really well to public safety and Measure P funding.
Something we had discussed at the last meeting that I wonder, it feels like this is building, we're sort of combining them as is we had discussed potentially creating a new ad hoc committee to formally do, bring our ideas forward. It sounds like we're kind of naturally landing at a spot where perhaps that would be easier to do rather than a bunch of ideas that are at odds with each other. So I would like to make a motion to propose to create an ad hoc committee to move this forward, to merge and move forward the proposal formally to Measure P.
Second, can I second that?
It doesn't, the chair can propose. That I was looking at, see how it was listed on the review and discuss commissioners' proposed suggestions. Right. We, if you like, because it seems that all the ideas presented, even from Mr. Cohen's ideas, all tie in. And so if there are 2 or 3 of you who want to combine those, and then it has to be prior to the July meeting. So if you could, let's say in the next week or so, combine the ideas. If Mr. Cohen will be able to send me his ideas no later than tomorrow, that would be great, so I can forward it to the ad hoc subcommittee. And then with the ad hoc committee, the collaboration of what they put together, I can then send it to the full body. But right now, because I can't send it to you for you to vote on it prior to the meeting, and I'm not certain, I didn't find out when the Measure P meeting, I know it was mid-July, I believe. So can we sort of go over what that may look like so that when the ad hoc committee does present it, it's not that you're voting on something, you would be voting on something new, it's that tonight you would vote on or discuss what you would like to see as a proposal. So let's say, starting with Commissioner Vidor's using the Bloomberg grant, that was a youth mural, combining that with Vice Chair Vidor's Bloomberg grant, and then adding Commissioner Thorson's, it'd be, besides mural, it'd be street art, if I'm understanding. And they're both utilizing the teaching artists, and that's asphalt art. And then the free art camp programming may go along with Commissioner Miller having a mobile art mobile that would go to the different areas that tie into the street art, street asphalt art, and the mural art. Then Mr. Cohen's idea of, his was one specific location, but that could be in one of the, since the Bloomberg project was in a district, his proposal may be the district, the project in that particular district. And then, so that's it. So we'd have to, you have to come up with costs, investigate how much would a mobile, mobile would cost, the art supplies, things of that nature. So that would be something that the commission can discuss, that the ad hoc committee could do, if in fact those are the items you would like to discuss and move forward. That's what I noted, but if you want to discuss that in a different way or add something, you can do that at this time.
Vice Chair Vidor.
Thank you. Through the chair. I would want to ask Izzy Drumgooley if she already had a mobile art unit that she could bring along, because she is a muralist and they do murals, and she may already have something set up that we'd be able to utilize. Going along with the districts for each council member, if we wanted to follow the Bloomberg structure, we might want to ask each council member where they thought it would best be utilized, street art would best be utilized. Now, I do know that at 33, I'm not sure it was 3302 Sonoma, there are issues in that area, in that corridor, right there with sideshows. And I'm wondering if street art in an intersection might mitigate that, because maybe they wouldn't want to ruin the art that is on the street. I do know that when it comes to murals, a lot of taggers will not tag murals because they respect the art for a lot of the time. Not all the time, but these are things that we might want to take into account, that there is certain amount of respect between artists at whatever level about other artists. And so, and I think that if we encourage that and we talk about it and we bring it to the forefront, that maybe other artists, maybe these youths who are doing sideshows, if they were included in painting the area where they would be doing that, maybe they would respect it more and not do that, and that would make that corridor a lot safer. But the idea that I had on top of that was that we would just talk to the different council members about in their district where they would think that this would be the most useful.
Through the chair, do you have time to do that and get a response? Question, just a question.
Well, I think it's an email.
But do you have time for them to respond? You can send the email once if that's,
Well, that could be part of the ultimate goal of the project. We don't have to ask them now, but it would be part of the proposal of the project.
that makes more sense. Thank you.
Commissioner Allen?
Thank you, and I wholeheartedly agree with what you just said, Vice Chair Vidor. I just wanted to call attention to the Measure P website, the Vallejo website. One of the questions is, what other community priorities will Measure P address? And talks about keeping public spaces safe and clean. One of the things that I would like to add, since we're Frankensteining this ad hoc together, and maybe one more thing won't be just one more thing. The art window project, that there's a lot of blight, and I don't want to call out one specific street, but if you go downtown, there's a lot of empty storefronts. The Vallejo Arts Alliance, about 10, maybe 12 years ago, was instrumental in making the art windows, working with the CCRC at the time, and perhaps it would be appropriate to work with Main Street to put art in those windows. And if, as you're identifying young muralists, young artists, or artists of color, LGBTQ, again, all the things that we're pro, I would love to put that in part of it. And also to think of the murals, and especially if you're working with Izzy Drumguli, which I wholeheartedly agree would be a great thing. If there's a way of doing non-traditional murals, by that I mean, for example, a specific example, more than hypothetical, the Vallejo Naval Historical Museum that was the old City Hall is on the National Historic Registry, so we can't have paint on the walls. Although if you go down the alleyway, people will tag it, people will do horrible things to it. However, we do have windows and apertures that have been boarded up with marine-grade plywood that could be turned over to youth murals. So as part of this, working with either the owners of some of these buildings to do their commercial windows with perforated vinyl, which we've also done. So you can transfer an artist's work into perforated vinyl and put it in the windows, or for something like the museum, literally painting on canvas that can be put onto a plywood canvas and used as an external art exhibit. So I would encourage us to be thinking sort of outside the box. And if it isn't just paint on a wall or paint on a street, maybe there's some other even digital components to that. So as you identify local artists to be a part of this, I would love to, again, explore options of getting money in the hands of artists. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen. Personally, I just want to put out there, I do think it's good to have a lot of these things. I do feel like the asphalt art and the safety element for road safety specifically is such a issue in the city of Vallejo, is that the way that people drive sometimes in this town. And I think the more that can be the centerpiece, I think the more likely we are to get a yes for the project itself. And then I think, so I would personally caution towards centering that. I think might be a smart idea. And then with lots of room to have murals and the art windows and things like that, but making sure that the sort of centerpiece of it is that asphalt art project, I suspect will get us to that yes a lot faster. And I think combining them all together is a really good idea, and especially, and perhaps a way to bring in the free youth camps is to say, work with local youths, create opportunities for youths to help create the art, not necessarily creating a whole giant art camp project behind this, because that feels like a second project, but that's how to turn it into one, and really centering that. And working to bring in everyone and to keep accessibility at the forefront.
Through the chair, if I may, then, it sounds like if you do, using Measure P as a guideline, the asphalt art as the centerpiece, as the core, and then build around the other aspects of it, having that as the core, and then you can list the other projects as a priority and prioritize them, or come up with a cost, because you do need to have a budget for all of these. So if in fact the commission has decided what projects you want to do, or someone would like to restate it, not me, but someone else restate what it is that you would like to propose, that then the ad hoc committee can then fine tune it.
Thank you. Would someone like to attempt to state? Commissioner Thorson, perhaps?
Actually, before I do that, I have maybe a kind of a question through the chair. I do wonder if I know some municipalities, like the regulations regarding what can actually go onto the street can be a barrier to creating art on pavement surfaces that people drive or walk on. I was unclear and did not research that aspect of Vallejo Municipal Code, but I do wonder if before we go much further, if we need to, if anyone knows more about that particular piece.
Commissioner Allen has his light on, then I'll speak afterward.
Actually, I'll defer to you, Staff Taylor. I was just going to bring up the Black Lives Matter paint that, again, some of us were able to be a part of. It was my understanding that went through a whole vetting process with the city, Public Works, what could be put down, knowing it was going to be temporary for a few years, but temporary nonetheless. But it would be, I guess, non-skid, or there was some other specific type of paint, but they were able to get all the different colors they needed for the artist. But mindful of every time you bring out public art, there's some people who love it, who hate it, who have issues with it or about it. I would say that I think all of those questions about what the paint could be and what we use, that's already been discussed. So I'm sure we could just link to that, right?
Yes, there are certain types of paint. Also, depending on the neighborhood, you'd have to get the neighborhood involved in what the art may be, and that may take surveying, go out, outreach, things of that nature, and perhaps you want to have, besides, you may have ideas, but then ask the neighborhood what is that they're looking for. It's you just don't go into a neighborhood and put things in their neighborhood on their street. So that would be a step that you would have to consider. So all of the steps, because these may be questions that the Measure P Commission ask. So you have to be prepared to really think this through, and that's why the ad hoc subcommittee would have to fine-tune this.
Through the chair. I'm wondering if including the council members, and they could do some of their own outreach. If we just make this part of the proposal, not upfront, but as part of the proposal, if each council member would want to reach out to their constituents about what they would want in their community and where it would be most visible and most useful, and the youth in that that district as well, so that so that every youth in every district can be included, and it's not just the same youth going around to the different areas and all doing the same thing. And that's one of the reasons why I'm thinking that, the summer camp would be very good, because the teaching artists, so in the Bloomberg grant, what we did was the teaching artists would outreach as well to the youth and bring each group together in each district so that those youth are involved. And they would do it, the youth from those districts would do the art in those districts, and so they have a buy-in as well. And that's what I was thinking. But that would just be part of the proposal, and we would hope that each council member would want improvement like this in their districts. And I would hope that the Measure P Commission would also want improvements in each district in this way.
So does someone want to restate it again? I mean, I did it generally, but do one of you commissioners want to state basically what it is that you are proposing, and that you'll come back together with a more finite draft to present to the Measure P Commission? And that includes Mr. Cohen's request as well.
Through the chair, as much as I love being on an ad hoc, I am in the midst of Shakespeare season. So I don't know if I would necessarily have the time to do this and be on an ad hoc for this, although I'm always happy to give input. But I just don't think I'd have the time to really put into doing the ad hoc. But I think that this is it sounds like we have much of this fleshed out, and we also have a project summary and justification form that we got that would be pretty easy to fill out.
Correct. I recall last commission meeting that Commissioner Hernandez said she may be interested in working on this. I know you've had a long day, and so I don't want to call on you too much, but are you interested?
Yeah, I'm interested in helping mesh all these ideas, because it's basic. Yeah, I can help put this together. What I might not have the bandwidth for is the costs and supplies, and trying to figure out the budgetary number for that, for the ask. But whoever else is on the ad hoc might be able to research those numbers. So yes, I'm okay to be on the ad hoc for the Measure P funding request to present for next meeting.
Commissioner Thorson.
Through the chair, I would also volunteer to do that.
I am happy to be on it as well. I do need to give the caveat that I have a strange schedule in July, and we don't know exactly when the Measure P meeting is. So would love to be part of the discussion in terms of forming everything and being on the firm. I cannot, without a firm date, 100% commit to being at the actual meeting for the presentation, but hopefully I could make it. Commissioner Miller?
I can assist as well through the chair on the ad hoc team, especially with the budgeting and figuring out the costs of everything.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was talking to Manny.
I could remove myself from the ad hoc, because then Commissioner Miller wants to be part of that. So it would be Commissioner Miller, Commissioner Thorson, and Chair Weiss on the ad hoc for the Measure P.
That's up to the to the commission, but what I will say, all of you, that you have to meet your deadlines. And I know that Commissioner Thorson, you're fairly new, as well as Commissioner Miller, and really haven't, well, Commissioner Miller, you have been on an ad hoc committee, but you have to meet without staff. I mean, I'm available if you need me, but you would really have to hone in on this because we're only having this one opportunity to make a presentation in July. So it depends on, there's 4 of you who may be interested. Commissioner Hernandez said she'll pull away, so it's up to this commission to decide.
Commissioner Miller, you have your light on as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought I was under the impression that Chair Wise was saying that his availability is kind of be scarce in July, so that's why I was standing in as a backup. I didn't think it was 4 of us, but if you're available, I can remove myself because I believe that Commissioner Hernandez is like the veteran out of us, and we need someone to make sure to make sure it gets rolling.
July 14th, right now.
Okay. Okay. Okay, it was July 14th, Manny shared with me. That's why I wasn't paying attention. But you're right, I didn't want to make Commissioner Hernandez sound like an old veteran, but I think that was my inference, was that.
I rejoined the ad hoc committee.
Okay, so it's going to be Hernandez.
Weiss and Thorson.
Yeah. July 14th is a great day for me. Thank you for that date. I can,
Okay.
in fact, be there on July 14th.
Okay, so it's Hernandez, Thorson, and Weiss, correct? And if either of you need to, well, that's the appointment, so you would have to come back. So, ad hoc.
You're the chair. Will we be able to do a Zoom, a facilitated Zoom, if we can agree on a date, or is this something outside of the Zoom?
You can do a Zoom if you want me to be involved. Let me know. But normally, in the past, I can be involved and set it up if you like. Otherwise, the 3 of you can make your own schedule.
Okay.
I also want to put out there, last week we talked to Councilman Mateus, who said he would be available to us to talk to the ad hoc if we created this. And I know he's not here tonight, but I think we should be sure to rope him in.
I will reach out to him and ask him, because he did want to limit his involvement. It would be more advisory than anything else. But I think you have come up with some good ideas and recommendations that meet the criteria of the Measure P. So just let me know if, in fact, the 3 of you can go off on your own and schedule. If you need staff input for any direction, just let me know, and I'll be more than willing to join your Zoom meeting if I have the time, if it's a time that I'm available. But thank you, Commissioner Miller, for stepping up there. Yeah, she's quiet, but she comes up with an idea here and there. Yeah. So, do you know when your first meeting may be? Hopefully this week.
I'll make it happen on my end.
Maybe this week you get started, and then.
Do we need you to do any voting on?
We will vote after Commissioner Vidor has a question before we finalize that. I don't know if it has to do with the ad hoc committee or not. It does, okay.
Actually, I just wanted to make the official proposal to get an ad hoc together to flesh out the criteria for the project summary and justification for the Measure P funds in the amount of $200,000 to go towards a street art program that would include a mobile art studio, possible collaboration with Melvin Cowan and the teaching artists of Vallejo in order to create public street art in Vallejo, and that would include a youth arts element.
Question before a second. Well, second, then there's a question.
I'd like to second the motion.
Okay. So the question is, you came up with the amount of 200,000. Is that something that is doable, or was the ad hoc committee going to come up with an amount?
Through the chair, the $200,000 was the 1% of the project that we were requesting funds from, and that was suggested by Councilmember Matias.
Again, does the ad hoc committee want to come up with a budget? So you're not limited to the 200,000. That's so, because it may be, if you do the mobile art supplies, so forth and so on, it may be more than 200,000 if you're going to do stipends and all of that, gratuities and all of that. No, I'm just asking the question. I mean, she gave a specific amount, but I thought that would be coming from the ad hoc committee.
Through the chair, I was under the impression that we were going to come up with a budget cost of whatever it was going to take, and whatever that number is the number would be the ask, right? I mean, but then we wouldn't know the ask until we know what number we're looking at.
I would propose that we add the word approximately in front of 200,000 to give us that wiggle room, and I think that is a good ballpark to aim for, that if we do budgeting and it turns out we need less than 200,000, as like a bare minimum, we should ask for 200,000. It's a great proposal, but to keep it open to a world where it could be more, and we have that wiggle room. But I think just adding that approximately, and then the ad hoc committee will come up with an exact number of what we definitely need to make it happen.
Unfortunately, the motion is what will ride the amount. So if the motion is 200,000 and you come up with a budget of 250 or 300,000, the motion was 200,000 that you're going to present. That's why I want to speak to that.
Through the chair, I would like to amend the motion to request funds from the Measure P in the amount needed for this project, which would include a mobile art studio, street art in each district, and I can't remember what I said last time. Street art district and a mobile art studio, a possible collaboration with Melvin Cowan, in collaboration with the council members throughout each district to create street art with the youth elements program.
Do you want to, at this stage, or that can come later, working with Izzy? Or that can come later, because you're also going to be working with the teaching artist, so that can come later.
I'm wondering, through the chair, I'm wondering if that would include an RFP, if that would need an RFP for that part.
Not if she volunteers.
Through the chair, do we also have to include how we would get the money out? Is that include I know it's not a grant, but then how the money gets paid out? You know, how we normally would put aside the percentage for the person who's signing the checks?
Well, I think what may occur through the chair is that if you're asking for X amount of dollars, and then each item in your request, you have a budget for that. Mm-hmm. And then if it's paying the youth or something, you have to have an agreement, and then there's a city agreement to pay out. So there's certain things, W-9 form, they may need insurance, things of that nature. So besides, there's a certain protocol that goes with paying out city funds.
Would we be going through someone like a VCAF type of organization to appropriate the funds?
That's a good question. I don't know if that's because this commission, because,
Because before, when we would have funds, it was granted funds, and then they were basically to the penny. We couldn't overshoot because it had to be exactly whatever we asked for. You know, so it's not like, oh yeah, if we have leftover money, there's no such thing as leftover money.
right.
So in a case like this,
Or-
since
or-
it's not granted money, is it appropriated out through a third party?
Well, it may be appropriate out of staff, out of the city, or you may want to consider in your request, in your presentation, that you may use a third party. So it leaves it open, maybe working with a third party 501c3. So you, just in case, because I don't know. It was different for the ARPA funds and the general fund dollars because that was regranting. This is Measure P money, and it's you're paying out, and the agreements will be with, maybe through the city. I'm not certain, but I think if you, part of your draft, you can say either through the city or third party, a 501c3.
Commissioner Allen?
I'm sorry, I pushed my button when, it sounds like Staff Taylor talked us all the way through to the other side of that. Yeah, I would, again, through the chair, question whether we actually have to have a fiscal sponsor for this, since, as it was pointed out to me earlier, this is not a re-granting program. It will be coming from the city with W-9s for the artist, and I don't necessarily, to Vice Chair Vidor's point about whether it's Izzy Drunguli named or not, since her name came up in a different project, since we would be in partnering with them, they would be doing the RFPs, and it sounds like they already have an artist in mind. Maybe keeping it open for other local artists RFP for this would be the best way to go, since you're already talking about partnering with someone like Izzy. But it sounds like we don't need however, maybe keeping it open so that we have direct conversations with Carmen and the Solano County Arts Council if we do need to have a 501c3 involved. Again, I'm not on the ad hoc, so take that for what it's worth, Chair.
Through the chair, I just needed that for clarification. So it's part of our ask. If we need to consider a 3 to 5% for that, you know, that will change a number. So, you know, then we would say, you know, with a 10% or not including the 10%, so that way we can have it worded right.
Okay, so there was a motion on the floor by Vice Chair Vidor. And basically, it started out with requests needed for, and then she listed the different items, which I will read off of the teleprompter when I do the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Vice Chair Vidor and seconded by Chairman Wise for the Measure P funding request to establish an ad hoc committee consisting of Chair Wise, Commissioners Hernandez, and Thorson, and they will collaborate and compile the ideas presented this evening by the Commission and Mr. Cowan, and request funds needed for all the items that have been discussed. Roll call. Chair Wise,
Yes.
Vice Chair Vidor,
Yes.
Commissioner Allen,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Thorson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Wise. Miller, sorry.
Yes.
It passed 6-0. Thank you.
Great. I think that's the end of item A then. I know. So we move on to item B, goal setting work plan. Staff Taylor, is there?
Again, from the work plan, your budget, I need for you to present numbers. So if you can do that and send it to me before the July meeting, because we need to put the work plan together, at least have something for mid-year, and so all the items laid out. So that's the request.
And do we need to speak those into the record now, or just email you what we discussed last week?
I'm waiting for the documentation. That's what I didn't get this time.
Then noted, and I'm going to move on to item C, the Black Lives Matter mural proposal, which I believe maybe are we discussing, or I understand there was no response from Askari Sawande.
Correct. So we can carry that over to next month, unless did you hear from her?
I was going to speak positively for it, but I would then, do we need to make a motion just to carry it to the next agenda?
Just administrative, just
Okay.
carry it over.
All right, so we'll punt. Thank you.
Carry that forward. So then we get to item D. Thank you to the caller who's been waiting, if you are still there to discuss this. The item D, California Arts Council Cultural Districts Grants Program.
Okay, through the chair, I spoke with Carmen Slack today, and the Solano County Arts Council has already started working on their application. And, as was discussed last time we looked at this, is that more than 6 years ago, that Carmen had submitted an application. So it was funny. I called her. She's always she was going to call me, but I called her and we spoke this evening, or earlier today. She could not make it. She said she had a conflict, but it appears that now there are two people from her organization, Christina and TJ Walker, who would like to speak. The commission can either speak first of their ideas, or you can listen to what the Solano County Arts Council have already started, and then speak after that. It's up to the commission.
I would love to hear from our caller who's been waiting so patiently.
Thank you, Chair. I went ahead and allowed Christina to speak. Christina, go right ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Your full name.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Christina Walkup. I work with Carmen Slack with the Solano County Arts Council as administrative assistant to the executive director, Carmen Slack. And yeah, it's already been said. Just what I was coming here to speak about is just that we have begun an application for the California Arts Council Cultural Districts Grant Program. And the application period closes August 7th. And we would be open to any collaboration opportunities. The application involves a few different components, and one of them is putting together a cultural asset inventory of the region that's being proposed as the cultural district. And then there's also, of course, defining the borders and the region that would be defined as the cultural district. So there's some areas where we could probably, overlap and collaborate, but that's about it. And that's what we're working on.
Okay. TJ, go right ahead.
Oh, hi. I'm with the Vallejo chapter of the Solano County Arts Council. We hope to run the art walk and other yearly events, things, poetry events and art shows and things with our folks around here. And I think some of the commissioners who've been there for a very long time, that I see up there now still, are aware of the kind of work we've been doing in the community already. And some things are being converted under the fiscal sponsorship of the council now. Which includes things like the art and architecture walk and stuff to keep those things alive that we all were able to benefit from years ago. So we've had some of these relationships built for a number of years, and we're just eager to serve the community in a new capacity that would help us boost our noise floor for the state of California and around the country, because we think that the region historically is important already. Artistically is already incredibly important. Um, and uh, also honoring Sly and folks like that who did come from this community, including people like Gabby Wilson and folks like that. I just want to mention those folks are talent from here. We have a myriad of other talent, Burning Man artists here, people coming to the museum all the time, cultural events there at the museum, very important events that don't happen anywhere, that include indigenous people and honoring the contributions to not only the land, but to our culture here, that they're still present. And I'm happy if you guys would like to move forward with us. I think it would be a really fantastic collaboration. And some of the partners have been mentioned in the room already. And that's it. I'm just really thankful. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. I think this is a extremely exciting opportunity, and that I don't see any reason we should not be working with the Solano County Arts Council to get it done, and specifically the Vallejo chapter of it. And yes, I think we should collaborate however possible. I think we should do it. I think that Vallejo is a vital, important cultural district already, and there is no reason to not pursue this. Commissioner Vidor.
Thank you, through the chair. I'm wondering so my understanding is that the city of Vallejo has tried to establish an arts and cultural district for many years, and I'm wondering if they've already defined the borders of it in the past. There is also all the signs that we see around Old Town. They're the old signs, wayfinding signs that say Old Town, and I'm wondering what the borders of Old Town is. I know it includes Georgia Street, which is part of the historic district, but there are two designated historic districts already in Vallejo. There's the historic Homes District, which is just on the other side of Sonoma Boulevard. That includes Capitol Stairs, and if you go to the zoning map of the city of Vallejo, you can see that. There's also the St. Vincent Hills Historic District, and these are two already designated districts. And I'm also wondering about overlap for those two districts if we were to designate a specific downtown arts district.
Through the chair, in the downtown specific plan, there was an arts and culture district designation, so we do already have that. And one other thing I want to mention that I forgot to mention that Carmen told me that there's only $10,000 that's available for this grant. So she did ask me to say that. So as far as the boundaries of the district are concerned, there are two historic districts, and do you want to look at the arts and entertainment district? It depends on what you want the district to look like and how far you want it to go out. I can't recall the discussion that we had previously, because it was stopped before it was started because the commission was going to meet on it, and then we were told that the state was no longer going to fund any districts, so we didn't get very far with that. But there is the arts and entertainment district in the downtown, so that is a designation in the downtown specific plan. And as you said, there's the two historic districts, so it depends on what you want in the district, how you want to designate it, and working with Solano County Arts Council. You can have those discussions, but tonight you decide if you want to go for it, and it sounds like the answer, at least from one commissioner, is yes, and you want to work with the Arts Council, and then who does the arts, there should be only one application from the city of Vallejo because you don't want conflicts. So then who would be the applicant? Would it be the city of Vallejo or would it be Solano County Arts Council? Those are questions that need to be addressed and see how far it goes.
Commissioner Allen.
I want to wholeheartedly say, Chair Vice, yes, absolutely. I would vote for this and would, we've already have a history of collaboration, and I realize I start to sound like a veteran here of the funding battles going back about 8 years. The fact that they're willing to partner with us is great. I would also add the caveat that if they were to be the applicant, that makes the most sense because we don't have that nonprofit ourselves, and it's my understanding the Solano County Arts Council is already designated through CAC funds to be a representative to re-grant on their own right, even though it's only $10,000. I say only. California Arts Council funding got gutted, and budgets being what they are, the arts are almost always the first thing thrown out of the balloon to lighten the weight, so to speak. So the fact that we may be able to apply for $10,000, that we can work with the Solano County Arts Council downtown. I am mindful of the last conversation we were having about each one of the council members having their district and having some art in it. This sounds like it's going back to the original idea of an entertainment district downtown. So as much as I would love to see the Myra and other groups like Bay Area Stage that are not in the downtown corridor benefit from this, I feel mindful of saying that. This does seem like it's a very focused and targeted thing, and for only $10,000, maybe it's an awareness campaign, or maybe it's some way of getting people to come back downtown to spend their entertainment dollars and all that return on investment that we always talk about. So that's a long-winded way of saying, yes, I absolutely think that we should partner with them, and they should take the lead on this.
Okay, through the chair, Christina, are you still available for questions?
Hello. Hi. Yes, I am.
Yes, Carmen suggested that, well, actually, she said that you are the person working on the grant applications and you have a lot of information. So can you provide the commissioners here what you have done so far, what Solano County Arts Council have done so far in their application?
Yeah, the application's not it's not completed. We've been doing, some of the beginning legwork, I guess you could call it, and gathering information. So, not sure how much I can, there's not much of the application completed, I should say. So it's definitely discussing things like you were discussing about the borders question, how that would be defined, and but no decisions have been made. So it's all still in the works. Yeah.
So has there been a focus on, you're saying you're doing research, borders, things, but has there been a discussion on a focus of an area, or are you still looking at the boundaries that the district may occur?
Yeah, we're still definitely open. Like I said, it's not been defined or discussed as far as any definitive, so it could be, it could definitely be, there's room for input from different parties at this point.
I would like to echo what Commissioner Allen said and agree that I think it does make the most sense for this specific thing to center it on downtown Vallejo as part of that project. As the district, I would highly recommend that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, through the chair, I asked a question to see what their thoughts may have been. That's, so they, in case they were maybe thinking something different. I didn't think they were, but I just wanted that for the record. See, what they may be focusing on.
No, absolutely. And I was hoping they would hear the seconding of the downtown as a suggestion. That was more for them. Yeah.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Fedor.
Thank you. Through the chair, I would like to suggest to the California Arts Council to use the downtown specific plan, which has already established the Arts and Entertainment District, because that has already been established, and it just might make the process go a little smoother. It's also the focus of where we would want the arts cultural district to be, I think, at least in the downtown area. And if we wanted to expand out from that, then we could do that in the future.
Okay, through the chair, are there commissioners who want to work on the application with Solano County Arts Council? Working together, or the commission can come up with their own ideas and then collaborate with Solano County Arts Council. How do you want to proceed?
Sorry, through the chair, might I? That's a different question. How might we proceed? I was going to offer to be on an ad hoc or liaison to that group. If it has to be official and voted on, I can be in an ad hoc. Otherwise, I can make myself available to talk with them, or at least get their draft of it and then maybe bring it forward to the larger group. However you want to do it.
The August is the deadline for the grant application. So it could be, Commissioner Allen, thank you for volunteering. It could be someone else as well to move forward.
I am also available, and as I am so connected to the planning and development department, I might be able to give a great deal of input in that area.
I wonder, could we formally request that the Solano Arts Council attend our next meeting and give a presentation on any liaison can happen between now and then as well, but then they could come to this meeting, present what they have, which will be, I believe, 2 weeks, a week and a half before August 7th, and we can just give some our own input, final thoughts on how they might finish it and additions to the process.
I think that's a great idea. Again, Carmen would have been here if she didn't have a conflict this evening. So you can do by consensus, or you don't have to necessarily form an ad hoc committee, but by consensus, say that Vice Chair Vidor and Commissioner Allen will work collaborate with the Solano County Arts Council and bring back information at our next July meeting. If there is something that's available prior to July meeting, just please send it to me, and I will forward to the commissioners so they have a time to review it and make comments. So if that's by consensus, Chair Wise?
Do we have consensus for what was just discussed for a roll call?
You can do it by roll call if you like. We
Voice vote?
We'll do a roll call by consensus, because usually consensus is not necessarily a vote, but by consensus, to have Vice Chair Vidor and, well, if we're going to do by vote, it's not by consensus. Okay.
Let's just all nod, yes, and we'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Very
right,
good.
because if it's by vote. So just by consensus, because you're not creating an ad hoc committee, just the two of you working with them. So thank you, Christina and TJ, and if you do not already have Commissioner Allen or Chair Vidor contact information, please reach out to me and I'll provide it to you. But I'm sure probably you may. I know Carmen has it.
Yes, I believe they do, yes.
And thank you for being available today to speak to the commission. Thank you.
Great. With that, I think we're ready to move on to the end of our meeting. Future agenda items. Inventory storage policy of artwork, which we will keep on the list. And artist registry, we will keep on the list. And then we move on to 11, announcements. Does anyone have any announcements? Vice Chair Vidor.
Thank you. Through the chair, I would like to announce that Vallejo Shakespeare in the Park will be having our show, our opening of As You Like It at Hans Park on July 26th and 27th at 4 p.m. And it will travel to Benicia Martinez, Solano County Community College up in Fairfield, and down to Piedmont in East Bay, and then back up here to Vallejo at Vino Godfathers on August 16th and 17th, I believe. And these are all the shows in the park at Hans Park, 26th and 27th, are free shows in the park to the community, and I'm announcing it now because the commission meeting will be the day after our opening. So I wanted to get it out now, and we hope to see people at the show. And I'll get this to you, Staff Taylor.
Commissioner
Promises,
Allen?
promises.
Did I jump on someone? No, okay. Very quickly, the Vallejo Naval Historical Museum, the current exhibits through June 28th, Pride exhibit, which was a collaborative guest curated by the Louise Lawrence Transgender Archive. It's a wonderful exhibit, posters. If you haven't seen it, please do. We're very, very proud to do a Pride exhibit this year. And also, if you knew the artist Adolfo Manuel, there's a wonderful tribute to his artwork as a visual artist and as a drag performer. And we're very happy to have it up, but it does have to come down in June 28th. We're also pleased to have done the Juneteenth flag raising. And there is a exhibit in the rotunda of the museum also marking Juneteenth and our collaboration with the NAACP. They are in residence on our monthly meetings, and we're very happy to have them there. So I think that's what we have. But again, if you haven't been to the museum, happy to give free passes to anybody up on this dais, and if anyone would like to, we're free the third Saturday of the month, so we were just free this past Saturday. Please come check it out.
Are there any other announcements? Then I will say our next scheduled meeting is July 28th, 2025. In case you wondered what year it was going to be. And we're adjourned. Motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Motion to adjourn at 7:35. Thank you.